The HP Outdoors Waterfowl podcast is fueled by Eukanuba. If you want to get the most of your dog in your training sessions, you need nutrition that holds nothing back. Eukanuba's new premium performance lineup is built with the nutrients dogs need to help unleash their max potential. That starts with providing energy that matches their efforts, supporting optimal nutrient delivery, and supporting post-exercise recovery. Check out the new Eukanuba premium performance lineup and find your dog's fuel at eukanubasportingdogs.com. You are listening to the HP Outdoors Waterfowl Podcast. The HP Outdoors Waterfowl Podcast is powered by Cornerstone Gun Dog Academy. CGA is the world's most comprehensive online gun dog training resource. They've got over 160 instructional videos that includes everything you need to take your 7-week-old puppy to a finished gun dog. Visit cornerstonegundogacademy.com to sign up for the free preview module and begin your training journey today. Cornerstone Gun Dog Academy, the most advanced gun dog training resource on the web. Sound Gear is offering a 35% discount to the HP Outdoors listeners for their instant fit industrial and shooter products. You can head over to soundgearhearing.com and use the promo code HPO35 to claim your discount today. Lifetime Decoy's new Flex Float Mallard decoys set the new standard for quality and durability in waterfowl decoys. An EVA foam, open bottom construction combined with patent-pended dual flow swim keel system allows for more movement and less wind, the ability to sit flat on ice and dirt, and virtually indestructible design which can be shot or otherwise punctured and still float. Each decoy weighs only 11 ounces with the self-righting keel weights removed or 19 ounces with the weights installed. Check them out today at lifetimedecoys.com. Welcome to Lesson 2 of Module 5 of the Foundations of Waterfowl Hunting course brought to you by HP Outdoors. In this lesson, we're going to talk a little bit about how to clean your ducks and geese and how to prepare them for the table. You know, there's a lot of different ways you can go about doing this, and everyone sort of has their favorite and their preferred way of doing things. And I think the best way to explain this is to experiment with different ways till you find out what works for you and what your preferred methods are. Even Dan and I, to some extent, hunt together a lot and clean birds together a lot. And we have our preferred methods of how we clean them or how we prepare them for the table and all that sort of thing. So, being open-minded here is probably a pretty important thing to be as you get started. As far as just using ducks as the example, there's a lot of ways you can go about doing this. You can choose to just simply breast the ducks, or you can pluck them whole, or you may want to roast the entire thing. Those are just a couple examples. If you do decide to, breast your birds out, are you going to leave the fat layer on, or are you going to take it off? Both of those require a slightly different, approach to removing the meat from the bird. So there's a lot of ways to do it, and finding out which way works best for you is probably the most important thing. If you're talking geese, you obviously don't want to forget about the goose legs. Many prefer goose legs to goose breasts, talking about Canada geese specifically. So, again, lots of different things to try and lots of different ways to go about doing it. One of the things I do want to stress is many people like to clean their birds as soon as possible. Sometimes you'll see them do it at the boat ramp or in some sort of like public parking area around a hunting wildlife management area or something like that. It's never a good look to leave feathers or particularly carcasses laying around in those public areas or on the side of the road. Like, if you breasted out a bunch of geese and then sort of ditching those carcasses into the ditch or something like that, that's definitely not something you want to do. You want to make sure that you properly dispose of any carcasses that you might have as a result from your success in the field. How you store that meat is also very important. So doing your best to clean it as much as you can, removing clotting and feathers and things like that could just that you're not going to want in the meat as you put it into storage, and then finding a way, utilizing a Ziploc bag or freezer bags or vacuum sealed bags type approach to get as much air out of that that package as you can will prolong the life of that meat in your freezer while you're storing it for later use. So, a couple things to think about there as you're cleaning and you're taking care of the parts that come along with that before you ever get the feel or the meat to the table. Which I'll let Dan talk a little bit about some of his preferred ways to sort of prep that meat once you're ready to have it and serve it on the table.
Yeah, and since this is a beginner's course, I assume most guys are going to be going out after teal, mallards, pintail, like, the puddle duck sort. So what I like to do, teal, wood ducks, I'll cut the skin off and, take those breasts out, and you can make your jalapeno poppers or just cook them with, wrap them in bacon, put them on the grill. And that's a really quick, really good, really easy way to prep those birds. Now, once you get into mallards, what I like to do, which a lot of people do it, but a lot of people don't. And I don't know if they're scared to do it or what, but mallards, instead of going right down the breastplate, I start from the outside, like, I guess it would be like the armpit, right? You cut from the outside in and you leave that skin and the fat all in one piece across the two breasts. So you cut up the breastplate, don't cut through it, and leave that as one piece. So you do that. The next step would be to kind of checker the fat. So you cut through it a little bit, because once you cook that, it does start to shrivel up. And if those cuts aren't in it, you'll just have one big clump. So make a little checkerboard of cuts in that fat. And then the next thing I do, little salt, little pepper on that. Don't put any oil, don't put any butter, nothing like that. Get a cold cast iron pan and you lay it fat down. So the skin side is down, and you turn it to a medium heat. And once that heat starts, that's going to take about 8 minutes on that side, and that will render the fat. So it breaks that fat down and starts to get really crispy. And if you put it on a hot pan, it's going to just sear the outside, and then you'll have a slimy skin and fat. Like if you had wings that really weren't that good, they were kind of like just gooey tasting on the skin. That's what you'll end up with. So start cold, put it on medium heat, let that fat render. It'll get crispy like a chicken wing. And then you flip it over for maybe 4 to 5 minutes on the other side. Take it off, let it cool, and then you cut it. And I'm telling you, it's as good as any steak that you would buy at a restaurant. It is so good. Honestly, like, my kids eat majority of it, and I rarely get to eat the ducks that I shoot anymore because they just hammer it. So, if you start to get into diver ducks, you're probably going to want to brine. Get a salt water solution, let them sit in that, get some of the gamey taste out of it. There is, some divers that are good. Canvasback obviously was a gourmet meal back in the day, and they are a very tasty duck as well. I would say go to ducksunlimited.com. They have tons of recipes on there. Also, Hank Shaw has a book out, Duck Duck Goose. Tons of recipes there, and a lot of ingredients that I don't even know what they are. And you like it, you just look at it, you're like, that looks really good, but I don't know where to even find half this stuff. So I try and keep it easy, and it works really well. So that's for ducks. For geese, you see a ton of guys that they'll just breast them out, put in a crock pot, and like a pulled goose, like a pulled pork sandwich. You add the barbecue, let it slow roast in there. And the same with, Josh mentioned the legs, put those in. It's like a dark meat on a turkey. So really good stuff if you cook it the right way. What we do as a group, most of the time we'll get just a ton of goose breast, take it and get hot sticks made. But, jerky, stew, pastrami. We have a really good pastrami recipe. If anyone's interested, reach out and we can send that to you. And like I mentioned, the poppers with the teal and wood ducks and that sort. So tons of way to prep it and eat it. And you just have to kind of find what you like. So I think that about wraps it up. Yeah, Josh?
Yeah, totally agree. Also, another recommendation for Duck Duck Goose, great resource there for all your different options, meals, just this things to try. So lots of good resources out there on the internet. Take advantage of them and enjoy your harvest. And like Dan said, I think people that may not even have considered, ducks, kids, things like that, will really like it. I think you'll find. So, if you try a recipe, you don't like it, don't give up on it. Prepare it a different way. And I think you'll find what works best for you. That's going to do it for this episode of the HP Outdoors Waterfowl Podcast. If you're new to the show, head over to iTunes, check out some of our past episodes, and while you're there, leave us a 5-star rating and review. It's the best way for like-minded hunters just like you to find our show. Check us out on social media, check us out over at hpoutdoors.com, and anywhere you can find quality podcast content. That's going to do it for this week. Till next time, for Dan, I'm Josh. Take care.